If you still have an Xbox 360 hooked up in 2026, or you're playing through backward compatibility on a newer Xbox, you might be wondering whether LEGO Indiana Jones 2 on Xbox 360 is actually worth your time today. This was one of those late 2000s LEGO titles that tried to shake up the formula, sometimes successfully and sometimes not, and it has always been a bit more divisive than the first LEGO Indiana Jones. So today we're taking a deep dive into LEGO Indiana Jones 2, The Adventure Continues, specifically on the Xbox 360, and asking the real question: does it still hold up, or is it just a nostalgic relic from a different era of gaming? Released in 2009 and developed by Traveller's Tales, LEGO Indiana Jones 2 followed up on the success of the original LEGO indie game, but it didn't just repackage the same content. Instead of strictly retelling the original trilogy the way the first game did, this sequel covered all four films, including Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and it redesigned the levels from the ground up. Rather than long story-driven stages, the game shifted to shorter, chunkier missions built around large hub worlds. Each movie had its own explorable area, and those hubs weren't just menus with doors. They were interactive sandboxes full of puzzles, vehicles, side objectives, and secrets. On Xbox 360 in particular, the game runs smoothly and feels very much like a product of its time. The performance is stable, load times are reasonable, and the visuals, while dated compared to modern releases, still carry that timeless LEGO charm. The blocky environments, exaggerated animations, and slapstick humor give it personality even if the lighting and textures clearly reflect late 2000s hardware limitations. If you grew up during the Xbox 360 era, there's an immediate wave of familiarity that hits you when you boot this up. The menus, the sound design, the structure, it all feels like that golden period when licensed LEGO games were being released almost yearly. One of the biggest changes compared to earlier LEGO titles is the structure. Instead of playing a long story mission and then replaying it in free play, LEGO Indiana Jones 2 breaks each film into smaller chapters that you access within the hub. You complete short objectives, unlock new characters, then return to the hub to unlock more areas. It creates a faster loop, but it also makes the experience feel fragmented. Some players appreciate the quick burst of gameplay, others feel like it sacrifices the cinematic flow that made the first LEGO Indiana Jones feel more cohesive. On Xbox 360, this design feels experimental, like Traveller's Tales was testing ideas that would later evolve in future LEGO titles. The hub worlds are arguably the strongest feature. Each film's location has its own themed overworld, filled with destructible LEGO scenery, hidden collectibles, and puzzle doors that require specific characters. Exploring these hubs cooperatively is genuinely fun. The split-screen co-op on Xbox 360 allows players to move independently rather than being tethered to one another, which was a meaningful evolution for the series at the time. You can roam off in different directions, solve separate puzzles, or just cause chaotic LEGO destruction while your co-op partner progresses the objective. In 2026, couch co-op games are less common than they once were, and that alone gives this title a certain value. However, not everything has aged gracefully. Combat is extremely simple. You mash the attack button, enemies fall apart into bricks, and that's about it. There's very little depth. Platforming can feel imprecise. Vehicle sections especially are where the cracks show. Driving and flying controls on Xbox 360 feel loose and occasionally frustrating. Missions involving planes, boats, or cars can feel clunky compared to modern third-person controls. In 2009, this was acceptable. In 2026, especially after playing more refined LEGO entries or modern action-adventure games, it can feel outdated. Another unique feature was the level builder. LEGO Indiana Jones 2 included a basic creation mode that allowed you to design custom stages using in-game assets. At the time, this was ambitious for a LEGO console game. On Xbox 360 it worked well enough, but it lacked online sharing capabilities that could have extended its lifespan. In 2026, without an active community creating and sharing levels, the builder is more of a curiosity than a core reason to play. It's neat to experiment with, but it doesn't add long-term replay value the way something like a modern sandbox editor might. While comparing this to other LEGO games available now, you have to be honest about the competition. Later titles refine the formula with voice acting, more cinematic storytelling, better combat systems, and larger interconnected worlds. LEGO Indiana Jones 2 sits in that transitional era. It doesn't have full voice acting, it relies on the classic pantomime LEGO humor. For some players, that silent comedy style is actually preferable. It feels purer, more charming, and less cluttered with cutscene dialogue. For others, it makes the storytelling feel thin. On Xbox 360 specifically, there's also the nostalgia factor. This console defined a generation. It's the same system that hosted classics across genres and built a massive online community. Playing LEGO Indiana Jones 2 on original hardware connects it to that broader era of gaming history. If you recently watched my Patreon exclusive about how the Xbox One lost the momentum that the Xbox 360 had built, you already know how significant that generation was. There's something meaningful about revisiting a game like this in its original ecosystem. Achievements popping, that familiar controller in your hands, the whole experience feeling like a time capsule. So is it worth playing in 2026? The answer depends entirely on what you're looking for. If you want a polished modern LEGO experience with streamlined mechanics, expansive storytelling, and cutting-edge presentation, this isn't that. If you're chasing nostalgia, enjoy classic couch co-op, appreciate Indiana Jones as a franchise, or simply want to revisit a quirky experimental LEGO title from the late 2000s, then yes, it absolutely has value. It's not the best LEGO game ever made, and it's not the most refined, but it's unique. It tried something different, and on Xbox 360, it remains a stable, playable reminder of a very specific moment in gaming history. Ultimately, LEGO Indiana Jones 2 on Xbox 360 in 2026 feels like a must-play and more like a right mood game. When you're in the mood for something light, simple, and nostalgic, something you can enjoy with a friend on the couch without overthinking mechanics, it delivers. When you want depth and modern design, you'll probably move on quickly. But the fact that we're still even asking whether it's worth playing nearly 2 decades later says something about its staying power. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. And if you want to support the channel, check out my Patreon, where the latest exclusive is all about how the Xbox One lost the momentum that the Xbox 360 had built. Until next time, game on.